Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Audrey Keller, and our guest today is Jackson Pavlik, a fourth-year musical theater major here at Penn State. Most recently, you could have seen him in Center Stage's production of Urinetown as Caldwell B. Cladwell. Thank you so much for coming in, Jackson. Yeah. So just, can you give us, for the people who don't know, what Urinetown is about, a little elevator pitch?
Sure. So the musical takes place well into the future when all of the water in the world has all but dried up, so everyone needs to pay to pee.
Yes. And you played this archetype of a villain character, this money-hungry Caldwell B. Cladwell. He's a villain. How did you make this character your own, as it is a stock character?
Yeah, well, it started kind of with the text and reading the text and seeing, oh, what does the character say about himself? What do other people say about the character? What does the script tell us about the character? And once I had a grip on that, it was really just about having fun in the room. And we tried a bunch of different things, a bunch of different approaches, and eventually we settled on what we went with was with this kind of Nixonian character. Right? We had a very low, shaky voice. And because he was this real powerful figure in this kind of almost 50s landscape with the style that we went with. So that's kind of how we started to build it from the ground up.
Yeah, it was really cool. I saw it. And Don't Be the Bunny was one of my favorite songs. When you guys brought out the tap dancing bunny slippers, I laughed out loud. I saw it alone, so I must have seemed like a maniac. But this show is super funny. It famously satirizes musical theater and a lot of other shows. There's a lot of allusions to other shows. Do you have a favorite moment, or is there a favorite funny moment in the show that you like to
My favorite moment is at the end of Act 1, we whip out this big old flag and we act like it's Les Mis, but these people are just revolting to pee. Which, that always tickled me. And I was up there in my big top hat, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, my favorite reference was the bottle dance from Fiddler.
Of course.
I thought it was one of the ones that I actively noticed, and I could not stop thinking about it afterwards. I thought it was super cool. Do you think that your performance changed night by night?
Well, there's a certain level of consistency that you have to achieve for safety. But so long as you're staying safe and so long as you're not wandering too far out off the beaten path, there were plenty of things that I changed a little bit. There was a particular moment where I got to get up on a desk, and that moment changed every night. Some nights we added a leg, some nights not. But got to change a little bit.
Do you have a favorite part of the show that maybe you're not in, maybe you are in?
Every night I got to sit backstage and I got to watch the big gospel number, Run Freedom Run, which was a bunch of fun. And sitting there backstage as the audience would applaud for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute, that was pretty thrilling.
Nice. And you mentioned before to me that you played the same character in high school, in your high school's production of Urinetown. Do you think your performance changed? How did it change? How did your performance evolve?
Just from coming here and coming to the musical theater training program here, I have more knowledge, I have more skill, I have more technique. And so just getting to apply that to the same show later down the line just enriched everything and changed everything because I knew how to approach it. I wasn't just coming in on day one, reading the script and doing what I thought would work. I was, reading the script and rereading the script and bringing in ideas.
Did your dramaturgy process change from your high school experience when you dove into the character?
Yeah. The first time I did it, I was just kind of looking at what had been done before, and this time I was looking at what I could do.
Interesting. And did your relationship with the cast, who do you think, I know I did theater, so I know the relationships with the cast and everything. I know there's some pretty tight bonds. Do you have a special friend from the cast or just someone that you could share the laughs with during rehearsal?
Well, there are plenty of people because in our senior class, there are only 9 of us, and I think 6 of us were in the show, so those are 5 other people that I've been in class with since freshman year. So that was pretty special, getting to do it with those people who I see day to day, every day, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight group. And so Penn State Musical Theater, the program is notoriously selective. I think they only accept, 12 people a year? First of all, congratulations for being one of them for your class. And how did you know that Penn State's program was going to be the one for you? How many schools did you apply to? What was that process like?
I have kind of a funny story because I am from just outside of State College. And my father's worked at the university for 30 some odd years. So I kind of grew up with this program in my backyard and going to see shows. And in 6th or 7th grade, I was like, okay, well, I like musical theater. I know that you can go to school for it, but I don't know what it entails. So I came up here and I scheduled a meeting with one of the admissions folks just to start to understand, okay, well, how do you do this? And she kind of walked me through it, and I left that day going, I think I'm going to go to Penn State. And so, my senior year came, I auditioned for, I think, 10, 11, 12 schools, something like that. And each time I was like, oh, this isn't Penn State, but it's good. And then, I got the call, and it was Penn State, here I come. So I've kind of known for a while.
Perfect. I think I had a similar experience when I knew that Penn State was the right school for me. But I was wondering, so I did theater for a while as well, and I noticed that I took little things from either the show or the role or like the process of doing it. Just talking about the shows you did for Center Stage, which is a different program than the smaller productions here. What do you think, if we want to do like a little timeline back onto your roles before, what do you think you took away from each show?
My first big thing here was Brigadoon. We did a production of the Lerner and Loewe musical Brigadoon, and I didn't sing, but I had all the funny lines, and that allowed me to endear myself to the audience in a way that I hadn't really experienced before. So that was nice. And then after that, I did a production of Cabaret, and I played the Nazi, and I learned that you don't have to love what your character thinks to love your character. Then I did a play called Everybody, where I got 20 minutes of stage time alone talking to the audience, and I learned how to form a bond with an audience. And then I did a production of Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, and I learned how to pace myself because I was running around and sweating. And then I did this one, and I learned that that finding the culmination of everything that I've worked to was fruitful.
Yeah,
and that the technique works.
It definitely was. I could tell the amount of love that was put into this performance, and you did incredible, and I just know that your future will be bright.
I hope so.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And telling us more about your experience in the musical theater department. Now, stick around because coming up next, Morgan and Mariana will have the latest news from across the nation.